So everyone, this video is going to talk through the 4-mark question of section A on DNA. This is for our exam board, Edexcel, and this question you don't really want to spend too long on when you open up the exam paper. So it's the first question on the exam, and you could answer this question very, very quickly at the beginning if you're feeling like you need a confidence boost just to get yourself writing, or to be fair, which my advice for you has been all along, is to start at the back of the paper. So it might be that this question is a little bit rushed at the end, which is absolutely fine. And it might also be that you end up missing this question if you run out of time, which again isn't ideal, but is better missing a 4-mark question than it is missing the 14-mark question, which I know some people have struggled with in terms of time management and things. So remember, it's about a mark a minute. This one, you could have it done in a couple of minutes, giving yourself a little bit of extra time for one of the more difficult questions later on as well. So with the 4-mark question, what you need to make sure you do, if this is your first question you're answering on the exam paper, is to make sure you have read the extract first, because this question is based directly off of the extract. And what the question will do is it will ask you to think about a specific character. So it will say something like, you are going to play Jan, or you are going to play Leah, and it will tell you exactly who it is you need to look at. Now, it's up to you if you wanted to go back to the extract once you've read that question, maybe circle or highlight some key lines and things that stand out to you, if you feel like you need that for your mind to kind of process what's going on. If not, you can have a go at starting this question straight away, but you've got to make sure that you're linking it to the character and to the set extract. So you can answer this question in 2 bullet points if you want. You can write full sentences if you prefer, but if you want to save a bit of time, like I've mentioned, 2 bullet points will be enough. The first thing you've got to do to get your first mark is you have to say a very specific example of what it is that you would do. And the way to make it specific is to link it to a quote or a stage direction. So something like Phil puts down his can of Coke, which is from Act 1, Scene 3. You might reference that stage direction. Or if it's a verbal kind of example, because remember, this question is going to ask you about verbal or physical skills. And the physical skills one's a little bit more complicated because it might ask you about non-verbal or the word physical skills. It's up to you which way you want to spin that. So make sure you're starting with a quote and or should I say a stage direction to make sure you're linking it to the extract. And then you would say what it is that you would do. Now, if you can, you should include a keyword. So something like, I'll put it in inverted commas, pitch, or tone, or intonation. Okay, you should try to use one of those keywords. But you've got to make sure as well you're describing that keyword, because if you say, I'm going to use my tone, that isn't quite enough. They want you to be a bit more specific. So saying something like a high pitch, or a dull tone, or a big intonation. Okay, so you're trying to be as specific as possible. So how this might read on the page is something like, on the line, Phil, I would use a low pitch with an angry tone. You could even link 2 things together like that. And that would be my first mark, because I've said a very specific piece in the extract and I've given the details of to what it is that I'm doing. Okay. The thing that you have to do to get your second mark is basically you have to justify. So that's kind of saying why. So if you're saying that Jan will use a confused facial expressions where she pushes her eyebrows together and uses an opened palm wide stance, for example, you can justify that by saying this is to show the audience that she looks confused. So how that would read as a bullet point is, on the line, dead, I would have Jan stood with an open body language and wide open palms to show that she is confused at what Mark is saying, or to show the audience that she's confused at what Mark is saying. Okay, that would get you your 2 marks there. Now, for this being a 4-mark question, you want to make sure you do it twice, because that then gets you the other 2 marks. Okay, so to recap, 4-marker, if you want to do it at the start to get your brain working or leave it to the end, the choice is up to you. It's got to link directly to the extract. It will tell you what character you are answering the question on. To get your 1st mark, you're saying the specific skill and the specific moment that you would use that skill, and then you justify those reasons why. So hopefully that will help you answer the 4-mark question in your upcoming exams. Best of luck.